Hello folks, and welcome to this week's show. This week we're headed to Mississippi. Nothing gets my heart pumping like seeing an otter in the water. This is trapping time.
Do you have the drive to be a trapper? They question my skill and my motive. They call me a Hollywood trapper. I give it my all to this game called trapping so that she can experience the challenge.
Well, it's getting late. Sun's going down, baby.
Smell that? Just screams coon.
The brush pile set came about.
We as trappers push ourselves to the limits.
This is my first Mississippi catch. I hate it. There's a gray fox down here. I caught this pretty little red right here. That is a monster. He's so big we got to drag him like deer.
Peyton's second beaver.
This is what you experience when you go on a trapper trip.
Brand new beaver trap.
Got the FB1. I see the tail. Beautiful. Brand new. It's got a muddy mess happening. We got one. Right, exactly what I'm talking about. Right here in this dip. 1 second.
Robby, Gilbert, king of poor man's zone. He's letting stand up, awesome.
Got something up here. Aha! 175s are definitely doing their job.
Do you have what it takes to play the game?
Three.
Follow me on my journey. This is my story. This is my time. This is trapping time.
Okay, we're down here in Mississippi, setting up on a beaver job here. Robby's been catching some beavers up here in the pond. Well, coming down this smaller creek, it runs down into the river. Found a couple crossovers, so we set those up and set the top end of this crossover with a 330. We have something in it here, and I believe it's an otter, but I haven't walked out to it yet, so walk out here and see for sure what we got. Yep, we got a Mississippi otter here. Not a very big otter, but nonetheless, it's still an otter, so. Probably my proudest thing about this otter is this is our 3rd year coming down here. Every year, Robby gets to break the ice on the otters, and I have to hear about it until I finally manage to catch one, so. But this year, it's my turn to break the ice and throw the gauntlet down to him to catch one now, so. Yeah, definitely cool. I mean, this is why we come to Mississippi, because from PA, we don't have these, can't target them, so. Beautiful animal, really fun animal to target, so. We'll get him out of the trap here and get this reset back up. See if we can pick up another otter or beaver here. Okay, get this set remade here. We caught that otter in using a Duke 330. As far as the trigger configurement, I mean, we just kind of open it up just a little bit, just enough that he can't get past it. This one I'm going to set on the 2nd notch, only because we have a little stronger current down here. And I want a little more pressure on those triggers in case a little bit of debris washes up against them. Always grab that 330 overhand. You don't want to mess with it too much like that because you're not going to get your hand out of the way if it accidentally sets off on you. But get it set there. We get here in our crossover. Get it mounted on our H stand here. We're going to kind of back it up from the actual crossover just a little bit so that we can get it countersunk a little bit. That's about how it was yesterday. It's not the ideal situation where you get it down in more, but we'll take a little bit of sticks here just to help us out some and kind of break it up a little bit as far as the squareness and so it don't look quite so out of place. They're used to ducking under limbs and through brush and stuff, so I mean, don't get overly concerned with it. Want to find dead sticks to use. You don't want to use like white sticks, green sticks, because you don't want anything that the beaver coming down through here is thinking, okay, they're going to take that for lunch or anything. So you don't want that on your trap as a guide or support. Kind of fence that in a little bit, make sure we take our safeties back off. Find our ring here, we'll pin this down with a T-bar, that way just in case the water comes up or gets to moving around too much, we don't have to start looking down creek for it. And that's pretty much our remake on this top end of the crossover. So.
Well, let me just tell you, cockiness is not a quality I like in my friend Jason Webster. But he did catch the first otter on that crossover set. But let me tell you this much, that was only the first day and we still had a week ahead of us. When we come back, we're headed to the Trapping Time set of the week and we're going to catch some nutria in Mississippi.
For some of us, trapping season never ends. It's in our blood and defines the very person we are. Let Southern Snares and Supply be part of your trapping world. Be sure to try out our best-selling capital punishment predator bait and our new Pure Gator Oil.
Hey folks, be sure to check out our all-star lineup for the upcoming season. New for 2018 is the hard-hitting Blackout Predator bait. If you're looking for a beaver-based bait with some kick, this is it. We're also proud to add to the batting order our line of mouse-based baits. If you're looking for a mice bait so pure it's practically eating cheese in the container, then you will want to try Peyton's Pretty Mouse. Maybe you're looking for a bait with some long-range appeal for those cold winter nights, then you've got to try Peyton's Dirty Mouse. When you're serious about trapping predators like we are, then be sure to make your next purchase at TrappingTimeTV.com.
All right, we're on our annual Mississippi trip, and looks like we've got us a Mississippi muskrat. Now, you guys all remember last year when I caught my first one, and I was so excited, and I posted that it was a new world record muskrat. Well, it never gets old catching these things. They are probably the ugliest thing. You ever watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Splinter? Makes me think of Splinter with the whiskers and stuff like he got. I was actually targeting beaver here, and what we ended up doing is I kind of stepped out there, and I figured there was a channel there. I about fell in the water, so it's a little bit deep. We might have a little bit of trouble finding our H-stand, but this is a slam dunk set, guys. There's no rocket science to it at all. We see a bunch of beaver activity up there, and there's some down here. This is the only water that separates it. These beavers use us so much that they've got a travel way worn out. So a lot of times you put the trap in there and it's kind of luck of the draw. Catch a lot of otters this way because they're swimming back and forth. It's the easiest way. You know, they're creatures of habit. They're lazy. They're going to go the easiest route. This is the easiest route. Now you'll see us catch a lot of beavers this way, but this is what happens. You know, you put a trap in place and you never know what's going to swim on into it. All right, we got a trap set back up here. I put that stick in there because it's kind of deep, and I know I reached around and found out where the actual channel was because I'm not going to be able to get out in there. So, just push it down in there until it's snug. I wired it off to this. Normally we wire off to our H-stands, but I don't want to be hunting for that in that deep water. Let's take this and lay it right across there. It gives us an idea where our trap's at when we come back and check it. There it is. That's the nutria set remade. Hopefully we got a beaver, maybe an otter. Webster's up one up on me now, so it's still early in the trip, so I'm sure I'll beat him, but it'll be some sleepless nights until I do. We set up on this beaver pond here, and it's huge. It runs all the way up. It's actually one of the weirdest beaver ponds I've seen down here that actually holds some type of shape. Most of them are just kind of spread everywhere. This one here is real similar to what we got back home. One major dam, which you can see behind me, and Jason had actually taken a really nice beaver out of there yesterday. He probably would have had a really nice one out there today, but he forgot to take the safeties off his 330 and his trap was knocked over, and hey, it happens to all of us. I was doing a drowning set here and I ended up catching this little beaver, and he had gotten back around here. He's small. Hind leg catch. Let's see if we can get in here. Woo, that's deep. Ain't doing that. Let's see if I can get over to the trap and get him cut loose here. Ugh. Maybe. Glad that wasn't a real big one. I may have some serious issues. Oh, I guess it ain't. It's a nutria. We didn't know what we had here. Thought it was a small beaver. Mississippi muskrat, as I call it. That makes number 2 out of this pond. Last year I come down here and never caught one, and I'm starting to become somewhat of an expert at it, I guess. I had it set right here because I had a little bit of a caster mound type thing happening. These nutria are actually really, really cool to catch. We're used to catching like a 2-pound muskrat back home and come up here. That's about the closest thing I can compare them to is a muskrat. We're gonna take some Webster's iron tooth and put on top. And hopefully it's enough to entice that beaver that he wasn't able to catch because he forgot to take his safeties off. All right, number 2 nutria down. Just a very, very cool critter.
Before you make your next trapping supply purchase, be sure to check out TrappingTimeTV.com. We have an extensive line of products and we're adding new products all the time. If you've seen it on the show, we have it. Don't forget to check out the Trapping Time line of baits and lures. You will definitely want to try out our #1 selling Back 40 Predator bait. We also are the home of the Trapping Time Trap Bed Cookie Cutter. Make TrappingTimeTV.com your last stop.
The Big Game Gut Glove is revolutionizing the way big game hunters and trappers are successful in the field. The 26-inch version fits over your elbows and protects you and your expensive hunting clothing from blood or cold water. They're made to fit your hands from extra small to extra large.
What I like about them, I can feel with them.
Existing products on the market don't give you the feel or protection you need. Wet or dry, the special non-slip grip bonds tightly to whatever you're handling. The Big Game Gut Gloves are reusable so you save money and promote going green.
All right, Jason Webster's up 1 on me on otters. I can't handle that. You know, I don't want to give him the chance to gain any ground on me. So I had to go back to the swamp. It's about a 3/4 of a mile walk back in there, but I know there's otters there, and I had to go to my honey hole just to see if I could get ahead.
All right, we're in Mississippi, and what does Robby Gilbert come to Mississippi for? Otters. Guys, remember my slam dunk set last year where I took that really big otter on that crossover? Come look and see what we got down in here. Now it's a little bit different than what it looked last year, but look at this. Now that otter there was cruising when he come down through there. Caught him in a Duke 330. He came from the top down. I'd say when he came, he was a flying because we caught him back towards the back. Last year, the one I caught, we suitcased him. This one here, we still got him. That's the important thing. This is what I'm after. When I come to Mississippi, I love catching cats, coyotes, and beavers, and the occasional nutria, but right here, this is what I'm after. Now, if you look at this set, I didn't even have to do a lot of work. Last year when we set this, it was all brushed in and we had about a 9 by 10 inch opening in there. All we had to do is sink that 330 in. This one here was a little bit different, but we still had this big log here. All this stuff was already here. When I came down here, I came in and I seen this little opening right here. So what I decided to do, I thought I can get that fenced in good enough. I really didn't have to do a whole lot to it. I just needed to blend the trap in a little bit. I was using my H stands. Now, the ground was so hard. I like my H stands to sit down as low as possible because I don't want them to have to hop. I don't want anything unnatural. So I dug out a little bit and I still couldn't get it. So I ended up pounding some brush up underneath of it just so it gave the appeal that it was kind of level. Now I was counting on them coming out of the creek behind me. This one here I didn't have to worry about because he came from the top and was shooting down through. He didn't have to slow down. But I'm going to reset this, but I'm going to reset it the same exact way I did before. For the biggest reason why is because I'm still counting on them coming up out of this stream. That's where all the sign we're seeing. This otter apparently had been out fishing and everything in the main part of the dam. As he come down through here to get back in the main part of the stream, he ended up getting caught. But when I made this set, I'm counting on them coming up out of the stream, heading over the crossover to get into the main part of the dam. All right, now we got the otter out of the trap. We got the trap reset. And we're going to place it right back in here. These little H stands, I tell you what, they are a godsend because the days of using sticks and stuff, they're kind of outdated. So we're going to take this 330 and we're going to try and push it down in just a little bit. That's about the same as what I had before, not very much. Now I use this big old beaver chewing here, and I like to use the dead ones because you got to watch a lot of times you use stuff that's green and shiny, then beavers might come up and chew on it. Because there's a chance there's a beaver going to use this just as well. So we don't want them coming up and chewing it. We're going to put about 260 some pounds of pressure on that thing and get it down in there. All right, we're going to get our triggers off, at least on this one here, because once I start fencing this in, I may have a little trouble getting it back off. So now, we're going to take some sticks, and not that it's 100% necessary, but I want to kind of get this thing blended back in. And we're going to try and get some sticks laid back across there to make this look just a little more natural. Now, I see guys all the time that consistently put up large numbers of otters that do none of this. I'm just not that guy. Of course, I don't put up large numbers of otter either, but I'd like to be that guy. All right, we're gonna get that in there. Now, I took a bunch of this stuff and kind of just blended the top in a little bit, as well as the bottom. I just want it to look a little more natural when these otters, because that's what we're targeting, come down through here. I was sitting here thinking yesterday, when I was reaching up here and grabbing all this stuff to blend this trap in, I thought, you know, we're in Mississippi. It's about 40-some degrees right now. 10 more degrees, 15 more degrees. I may not want to do this just because good chance might run into a water moccasin down here. And we don't need that. That's definitely a call I don't want to make back to the wife. She never let me come Mississippi again. We've got one more little spot there. Now that's a quick blend in, but I think we'll be fine. I don't think there'll be any issues. That's a finished set on this crossover. You know, even though it looks totally different than it did last year, the animals are still using it, so we're going to stay with that and hopefully put another otter in. That's it, boys.
From the hills of West Virginia, Smokey's Deer Lures presents the first and only real pre-orbital gland lure in the world. Applying pre-orbital gland lure to a licking branch will allow you to take a complete inventory of the bucks at your favorite hunting spot. Get yours at smokiesdeerlure.com.
For some of us, trapping season never ends. It's in our blood and defines the very person we are. Let Southern Snares and Supply be part of your trapping world. Be sure to try out our best-selling capital punishment predator bait and our new Pure Gator oil.
The score's tied 1-1, but it's time for me to pull away.
All right, we're checking the nutria hole. And this is where I got the 330 where I almost took a swim the other day. Might have to change the name of this hole. To the otter hole! Woohoo! Awesome. My good friend and buddy Justin Rogers said he come up and checked this trap and said, come up and get your other nutria out. Ain't no nutria right there. Suitcase that bad boy. That is a big, big Mississippi otter. I love catching these things. Had a feeling when we made this set, the old crossover, there's a channel and it's deep. And I'm just using these little weight stands. I had a feeling we're gonna catch one of these bad boys swimming up through here. And we so did. That just made my day. I just caught a nutria down here, which I'm informed, down here we call them swamp possums. Justin says we call them swamp possums. We call these otters. Awesome, awesome otters. Well, he filled that 330 right up. I'm walking up to it and I'm looking at the tail sticking up. And I'm like, that ain't no nutria tail. Awesome. All right, guys, this setup here, that's a big otter. The setup here is simple. I felt down through there. I found a channel. I took an 8-stand, sunk a 330 down on it. If you can find those channels, if you take your feet, a lot of times you can feel it. Them beavers, they get them wore out. Those 330s fit in there perfectly. We're gonna set it right back up again. We're gonna find the 8-stand. You know what? If it works, why change it? We're not gonna reinvent the wheel. We've already taken a few critters out of this run right here. We're gonna set it back up and maybe we'll catch us a swamp possum, but I hope we catch another one of these. Got a 330 back on the 8-stand. Now I wired this one off to this stick, you guys, because I want to make sure if I get that otter thrashed around a little bit. When you catch him in the middle like I did, he was motoring when he came through there. And when they come swimming up through here, you want to make sure that if he gets hit and he starts flipping around, because I mean this was off the 8-stand, we don't make sure we don't lose him, especially a really nice otter like that. Now a little trick that I like to do, because it is a little bit deeper, I'm not going to be able to get out in there and stand above it. I take a stick and I feel, and I try to find that channel, and then I'll come back in about halfway. That way when I push this down in, I can kind of aim it on this, and I know that I'm halfway in that channel. Put it down in, pull your levers up. Now we've had some problems today, people not taking their safeties off. I'm gonna take the safety off the other side because I can still reach it, still reach the other side. Just be very careful when you're doing this. Make sure this wire's out of here so we don't get it all tangled up. And then we're gonna pull this one here off. And you always keep your hands on top, guys. That way, if something would happen, these gut gloves are tough. I don't think they're going to withstand a 330 smacking you. Make sure that thing gets all the way to the bottom. They're going to hug the bottom as they come through here. We got it set. We're going to pull our stick out. Now normally, I like to put a dive log above it, but this thing's been thrashed up so many times. Just don't know if we have one here or not. My good friend Justin's helped me out here. It's more for sight appeal than anything. Just something to kind of make them want to go under it. There we go. Now if I find another one here. So it don't wash away. As long as it stays in there, they're gonna come up here, even if they're on top of the water or not to the bottom, come up through here, they'll see it and want to dive underneath of it. I love setting these old crossovers like this. We all look for the beaver dam with the fresh mud over the top, but if you can find these old crossovers like this here, they are just as golden, especially when you're using these 330s. All right, let's get my big otter up out of here. I don't know how many Jason's caught so far on this trip down here, but I'm sure it's not 2, which I've caught at this point. I'm pretty sure he broke the ice with 1, but my math's not real good, but I'm pretty sure I'm beating him. So, which just makes the whole trip for me. So, all right, let's get this big otter out of here and go check some more traps. You know I love you, Jason.
Well, I'm up. It scores 2-1, but be sure to stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of Otter Bowl 2018 and an episode later this season. Be sure to join us next week. We're literally trapping in my backyard. We're trapping coyotes in my home state of Pennsylvania. Like we always say, we're keeping the tradition alive here at Trapping Time.